Michael, I'll let you get us
All
started.
right, it's March 7th, 2025. Officially, we are in our fifth year now of Drinks Professionals Network. We have a small group today. We're hoping a few more will straggle in while we're chatting. Welcome back, Sherman. We've missed you the past
Good to be
couple
here.
of sessions. And Dan, you're back. How are you? And Carrie is here, but she's taking a client call. So she's run away from the farm or the vineyard, I should say.
The vineyard,
The
yes.
vineyard, yes. So, Sherman, why don't we uh, why don't you catch us up?
Sure.
You've been growing your business. You've been continuing your pivot to sampling and also just I don't know what else, right?
Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was a decent year last year. We did about 1,600 events, and that was a good, strong growth year for us. And uh, in the industry itself, I can say this: when you look at the metrics, RTDs were one of the few of three categories: tequila and uh, what else was up? RTDs was the biggest gainer.
Hmm.
Tequila was up last year,
Hmm.
and one what was it, Mike? There was one other category that was up, but I can't remember what it was.
Mezcal was down.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought tequila was up. In any event, for
Tequila was
us,
up.
it reflected that RTD
Yeah.
growth.
Well,
About
the other piece of the RTD is the biggest growth in RTDs are spirits based.
correct. That's what we almost exclusively do, and it's now probably 35%, if not a little more, of the work that we do. And uh, the spirits brands that we're doing this year, it's interesting. They're the ones that have said, hey, we know there's been some retrenchment on certain parts of our competitors, but we're viewing this industry like Warren Buffett. Now's the time to take market. So the ones that are spending money are saying, we're going to go strong in the markets that are serving us well. And we now have enough data around certain chains that we've done, especially in total locations, to kind of help brands determine which markets to emphasize. We've done a lot of work on conversion rates, and you've seen some of that research, Mike. So that wasn't just in
Mhm.
Nashville that we're paying attention to. Um, and we got a lot of brands taking us to Texas now and are merging uh, an agency that's done significant work in Texas into ours uh, over the next month down there. They've didn't have the systems, processes, or tools that we have, and she wants help. So she's joining forces with us, and we're just going to combine and
Oh,
merge
nice.
everything in down there. Yeah. So we've got a chance to do somewhere around 4,000 this year, which would be good. And what we're doing most importantly, Michael, some of you guys may recall, we have this technology around drink sharing, where we bring restaurants on board. They load their menus as digital beverage menus, and then people can buy, share, and redeem those cocktails, wines, and beers. So, Michael, you're really familiar with that tool.
Mhm.
We have recast, recoded, revamped the entire tech stack. It's going to be released probably this month in the Nashville market. And what we're doing most importantly is now establishing a methodology around taking everyone that's sampled on the store level, exposing them to the platform, and then subsequently converting that uh, opt-in to our platform into a drink credit in favor of the brand that we're sampling at the store with one of their
So
on-premise partners.
if I'm a customer and I come in and I get a sample, I put the liquid to my lips, then
Yeah.
I'm opting in to be
You can be. You'll have an option to opt into the community, and then if the program features uh, a drink as a result of your purchasing a bottle in favor of one of the on-premise partners that are participating in that market,
mhm.
that's what you'll see launched this year. So we'll be sharing that platform with agencies across the country in collaboration with Overproof and some of their work with us. And so part of our work now is approaching agencies across the country and sharing them the future of this platform where they can begin to revenue off their on-premise relationships, not just their retail and supplier relationships.
Great.
So
That's great.
we'll
Yes.
bring you up to speed on all that as we launch it. But we're definitely off to a decent start this year, but no record-breaking stuff. Brands are slower with their budgets this year than they were last year. Everybody's talking about this, but I'm absolutely certain it has to do with the uncertainty. I'm certain about the uncertainty. So,
Well, certainly crazy to see Jack Daniels and American bottles coming off the shelves in Canada, even though it's paused. It's like, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Um, but I'm having fun this month. It's Women's History Month, and so I'm featuring a female-owned brand in my LinkedIn work every day this month. It's wonderful to dive into those brands. Today was Vanessa's turn, by the way.
Oh,
Uh,
Vanessa,
so she
thank
Oh,
got the
you. Yes.
you got the shout out on LinkedIn today, Vanessa, you and your wonderful brand. So
I'm at the airport on my way to Georgia.
I was
Oh,
going to
you
say, are
are.
you in a mall? You are
yeah,
there, you came?
let me shut up and let's hear from her.
Yeah. So, Vanessa, so where are you headed? You're coming back to Georgia? Midnight plane to Georgia?
He's leaving.
I thought you were driving.
I changed my mind.
That's
Just to
smart.
do that drive again,
Yeah.
I changed my mind. I'm just going to pray to God that we have a safe flight. That's all I can do. But I'll be there for the weekend, and then I'm coming back in 2 weeks for the wedding. So tomorrow I'm staying with my cousins, the Braxtons. So tomorrow I'll be with Tony all day in
Mhm.
Toronto for the wedding. She said, Carrie, as soon as I touch down, I'm coming to see you. Oh, I gotta go
Okay.
buy a cake from you. Just let me know. I'll buy that cake so I can bring it to the wedding. Just point me in the direction.
I
Yeah.
don't even have a case here, and I don't even know where you could buy a case, but we never even like hooked up.
All right, we can talk about that offline because I think she did respond. All right, when I get there, I land at 3 o'clock. But Black History Month was good. Thank you. This Women's History Month. I'm last week I did an event which was really new to me. They had something called Black Restaurant Week. I don't know if you guys heard it.
In New York?
Okay. Yeah, it was in New York, Black Restaurant Week in the city. I was one of the speakers, and I sponsored, and I was shocked to find 200. It's the Black Restaurant Coalition.
Mm.
There were 200 restaurants that are members,
Ah.
and I grabbed them all as an account. So I'm going to put together a specific program for them, probably with my wells. And what we did, my husband and I, we frequent several of the restaurants. Every night we went to a Black-owned restaurant, and it was delicious, absolutely delicious. So to support them, they're going through stuff too. They see that there's a decline in people spending money at the restaurants, and of course the food prices are high. So I'm putting together some specific packages for their restaurants as the coalition, like for their members, so they can buy in bulk. The two officers of their coalition group came out to my distillery, and I'm there to help them. The funniest thing, I don't have my brand. I didn't have my brand in not in one single Black-owned restaurant.
Really? That's surprising.
Yeah.
I would have thought that they would be scooping up that brand just because you got to have some
You
black
would
money. You could have some black mama in the house.
Right. But no, all my clients are Indian, Caucasian. You know, I have a lot of, I think that they didn't know that they can buy directly from the distillery in New
Right.
York.
Because the
You know, a lot
distributors
of them.
they deal with aren't telling them that.
Yeah, so they thought that the distributor was telling them, oh, you know, was selling to them what client wants, you know, the Tito's, the Hennessy, and all that. I said, no, you can still have that if that's what you want,
Yeah,
but you can buy directly and I can undercut anybody's pricing, you
right.
know, so that's what, you know, several of them came to my distillery and bought cases, like 6 cases, which
Yeah, I
was
mean,
great.
why wouldn't they buy, especially if you're, giving them such a get great pricing that they're not going to be able to touch
Yeah,
compared to anything else. So that's great.
right. So they know that. So that was good, you know, and it's Women's History Month. Something's coming up. I got to go to St. Croix in May to help with distillery and
Oh,
Oh,
that's so,
hey, you have to go.
that's got to be so rough.
I
Oh,
know.
I think you need a chaperone.
A
join the
nanny.
list. Join the list. My last chaperone was my cousin Trina Braxton. So this time my husband said, "No one's going but me. Just give me the, you know, me and him. He's gonna sit at the
So
beach all day."
I assume you're not going to Tucson next week.
No, I'm not. I got so much work to do at this relocation. I'm going and I'm coming back. You know, I got to bring my tanks in. So it's construction all the way. And then I got to come back to Georgia in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So how is your construction going in your new?
Going great. I just wish this weather would just let up. Oh yeah. I
Well,
just want nice.
if you lived in Georgia, it would have let up.
I don't like Georgia's distilling laws. I'll
Yeah.
have to go come to Georgia and change all of the
Yeah.
laws. I already did that in New York. I can't do that again.
They
You know,
just,
but
I think they
hmm,
just go to ban all THC beverages, even Delta 9 hemp based today or yesterday, whatever.
in Georgia,
Yeah. It was one of the bills that made it through crossover day, which was,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Hmm.
So
It
it's
didn't
like
make it.
a blow to the hemp
Georgia,
industry here, because that's the whole point. It's been exempted because of the farm bill. Exempt, I should say exempt because of the farm bill, but they overruled it and said it's still THC and we don't want to have it in this state.
so wait a minute, you can't do CBD at all?
In beverages. In
Oh, in beverages.
beverages. Yeah. I mean, they just passed it 2 days ago, so I don't know what the implementation
So
is.
I'm assuming that your liquor lobby was the cause of that
Probably,
legislation.
honestly, I didn't even know that this was an issue until they said, oh, that passed.
Yeah,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you gotta stay on top of it, you know. But it's been good. I'm just gonna see how this storm weathers with the economy. People are spending less,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I can, you know, I can make anything. I need to make something that's affordable for them.
Well, you're
Then
well
I can.
positioned. You're well positioned for that, especially for in New York and for the customers you can go direct to. It may not be
Yeah,
the same for shipping, but unless you're able, you're able to do free shipping, but you've got to, what's your minimum? What do you, how does that work? Isn't there free
my
shipping?
minimum is depend. Oh, for shipping or
Yeah.
$100 free shipping.
Yeah.
You know, and keep it. You know, most people spend 100. Like I think it's like 104. They spend when it's
Mm,
you know they
yeah.
somehow make sure they spend 104. That's
Mhm,
the number, the magic number for free shipping. But the
mhm,
prices for UPS have gone up.
mm.
Mhm.
Right?
Just
So
just $104, you get free shipping?
on my site because I have negotiated rates. Not everybody has negotiated rates. Yeah, you gotta have negotiated rates with UPS through a FedEx, UPS, I have negotiated rates. You know, FedEx, my negotiating rates is like 10 years long. You know, so I have really great rates. But otherwise than that, it would be difficult. So I'm grandfathered in with my rates, which is kind of good.
Mhm.
You know, just that if I ever come out of if I ever come out of it and I get back, let's say I go back in, they're gonna increase the rates, but the rates are still high.
Mhm.
I don't know what people are gonna do, but it's all
Mhm.
good. Just gonna work together, and then I'm gonna undercut everybody. That's all I can do. I'm gonna be,
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
work
be very
together.
aggressive. That's what I'm doing.
Sherry has run away again. I was going to ask her, Dan, what's new in the world of insurance and rick houses and
Well, nothing new and exciting necessarily, but when I first started joining these meetings a year and a half ago or however long, the property insurance market was in a historically bad place, and it's starting to come out of that little by little. So you're seeing more underwriter appetite increases little by little. So I think part of it may have to do with the change in the industry as far as the volumes and whatnot that we've been talking about. There's not as much traction, not as many applications being sent out, but the property market for rick houses and for barrels, where the pricing that we were seeing in general going up, has turned around a bit.
Yeah.
And,
so
and
that does impact values, insured values.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, and I haven't spoken to underwriters about this, but with the influx of new rick houses and warehouses and storage facilities all over the place, so brand new buildings,
Mhm.
fully sprinklered, and
Mhm.
versus however long ago, 10, 20 years ago, everything was 100-year-old wood frame buildings, right? And so that helps. That's the biggest thing, is how's it stored? How's this stuff
Well,
stored?
and the irony is that it's the major brands, the big players that who bought all these existing distilleries, in the, I don't know, 70s, 80s, even early 90s. They're the ones that have all the old wooden rick houses. All the smaller players that have come on the scene, in the past decade and change, they're all for the most part, in metal and concrete and sprinklered and
Yep.
yeah.
There's a taboo that's persisted from what I've found out, and unless you're working with a specialty insurance company or underwriter, they they just have these what are called reinsurance provisions. So that's insurance companies for insurance companies, and they say absolutely no distilleries. So then that trickles down, and it's a hard no, no matter how nice the facility is. Unfortunately, I think little by little, hearts and minds are changing from a storage side. Then from a production side, not much has changed. Wine, beer, spirits. It's not nearly as difficult to place the operational side as it is the storage and warehouse side.
Mm. Interesting. What do you use for valuation?
Usually, it's the owner's valuation, whatever they
So
have.
it's whatever they say.
Right. So we try to on the large allocation barrel side, we try to use agreed value. So we say you've got 1,000 barrels, they're all worth 1,500 a piece replacement cost. And the underwriter says, yep, we agree. And if there was a loss at any time in the year, that's how much you're getting paid. So there's no calculation that goes into it, or replacement costs or co-insurance provisions or penalties or anything like that. So I haven't had to provide third-party valuation reports or anything like that for any of the allocations I've worked on up to this point.
So it's all what they state. I would be curious to know over time if you start seeing more claims as the values are coming down or have come down.
I
you know,
have,
especially
I,
for older. I mean, we've got listed like 6 to 8 year old barrels of whiskey, of Tennessee whiskey, that I'm not really at liberty to say, but they're being sold at pretty much just a little bit more than what new fill would cost.
really,
Yeah, it's a unique. It's not a market thing, but it's these little pockets of somebody's got to get rid of them. They just need to get whatever cash they can get out of it, and so it's like, for
interesting.
$1,300 you can get 6 to 8 year old barrels that should be worth, even in today's market, should be worth $5,000,
Right.
4,100.
Well,
I've seen some as in the sixes, but
oof.
in the past, but so that's kind of an interesting thing, and it's the fact that it's significantly aged inventories, which previously have been impossible to find, and I mean, I've got more 8, 9, 10-year-old listings than we've ever had. 5 years ago, it was a challenge to have enough 4-year. And now there's ample 4-year and plenty more after that. Anyway, so it's curious because there are people who are really, um, you know, they shouldn't, but there are, and a lot of them, some of them are investor groups, who just they want to move on. So it's like, they're not building their whole future on it. Anyway, so there's some great opportunities, quite frankly, right now.
No, I saw your post about like the lightning sales.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is. I'm getting these things, and it's really too low to list, and it's going to bring the market down. But here's what it is. If you want to know about it, it's going to go away in 7 days,
Mhm.
unless it's not going to be on the list for long. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. Carrie, what's new in the vineyard?
Hold on one second. Sherman, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I see Sherman's hand
sorry.
up.
Yeah, just a quick question for Dan. Dan, I've had one heck of a challenge over the years in securing liability insurance with a liquor writer or endorsement for a team or a company like ours. We don't sell alcohol.
Mhm.
We don't have a license. It's not required. All we do is sample less than 1 ounce in any store. The people we sample are retail customers, and you're not allowed to be drunk in a retail store. Yet we have found it incredibly difficult because there is no company that has positioned themselves to serve the promo industry. They either underwrite us as a restaurant and bar,
Mhm.
or they don't have anything. And I'm like, damn, if somebody would come along with an option around ensuring nothing but promo people or that as an endorsement, uh, my guess is there's a killing or at least a sufficient business to warrant it. I'm just curious, have you ever run into anything like that where an agency like we have is coverable?
Sure.
It's really
Yeah.
been interesting.
So
I thought they all had to be Raise the Bar has insurance.
Well, I mean, I just haven't been able to find it.
well,
I mean, I've been searching for 2 years, and the liquor endorsement is almost impossible
so one thing
to
I'd say,
find.
Carrie, to that point, I hear that comment a lot as well. XYZ company has coverage and it's super cheap. I always say caveat emptor, buyer beware, because just because someone else, a competitor, a peer of yours has coverage, on paper, you don't actually know what they've got covered. And I'm not
Right.
saying, I'm not disparaging anybody, of course not, but I've seen too many times where I look into a policy and go, whoa, you've got all these exclusions, your operations are classified wrong. And unscrupulous brokers will do whatever they need to do to put a policy in someone's hands and then earn the premium and earn the revenue. I see that a lot. But sure,
And oddly enough, yeah, in South Carolina, I provide a
so
liability policy, but they don't require liquor
South
Right.
South Carolina is one of the states that is really, and if Pixie was here, she'd tell you because I have had conversation with her about it. South Carolina is really, really difficult from a liquor liability standpoint. It's not impossible to do it. It's just prohibitively expensive in a lot of cases.
So
So,
what is, all my tastings have been canceled in the state of South Carolina. They say that they won't even do them anymore. I don't understand what's going on.
so I'm not a legal expert, but my understanding is that legislation in South Carolina and some other states make it so favorable for the consumer to file a lawsuit against any organization or business that they may have interacted with in a situation that led up to an accident. So they could say, I walked into around here
Total Wine,
we have Meyer or Kroger. I walked
Total Wine, because
sure,
that's
sure.
where I'm like,
I walked into
like suffering.
I walked into Total Wine and bought a bottle of wine and had a sip of wine at a tasting, left, went to 3 liquor stores, went to 3 bars, and then got into an accident. They're going to sue every one of those places,
Everybody.
regardless of
Yeah.
whether or not they even drank at those places. And they first of all, they would have to defend themselves, and they could still be found liable in part to the end accident. So again, not a legal expert, there's a lot more nuance to it, but my understanding and my readings of it is South Carolina is one of the handful of states that it makes it exceptionally favorable to the plaintiff or
They're the only state, well, they're
Right.
the only state we work in across the country that requires a liability policy to get your sampling approved. But that liability policy does not have to have a liquor endorsement in it. It just has to be exhibited as a liability policy. So Carrie, we're doing samplings in total
I
and
was
in
just going to ask you,
independence.
so you are
Yeah,
doing them. I'll
yeah,
hire you then
yeah.
because my agency is not doing them. Total will not book them. I don't know what's going on. I've missed about 7 months of tastings now with my Prosecco list, my bubbleless Prosecco. And it's killing me in Total Wine because like the way we're moving it is through tastings and we cannot do tastings in South Carolina. So I'm glad we had this
Let's
conversation.
chat off.
See,
Yeah,
something good
I'll
happens
email you.
about this on this call every time.
Well,
And you
and
have
Sherman,
a,
I'm glad
you have a
you brought
South
up.
Carolina-based agency.
So Dan, should I communicate with you sometime? Show you
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is I need?
Let's have a separate conversation. Because I'm thinking
All
if you
right.
have a distillery that sends its salespeople out or the owners out and they go to a convention or they go to a farmer's market, whatever else it might be, their main job is selling and producing alcohol, and then they go to the trade show or to the local fair or whatever it is. An insurance policy should cover that, or you can get an event policy for these one-off things. It's certainly doable. Now, operation like yours, where that's the sole operation,
Yeah.
there's a different type of exposure, but it can certainly be done. And then it just depends where it gets done, whether it's a Lloyd's of London policy or something really specialized, and then how much is it going to cost?
Yeah, Byberg's our current provider, but they haven't approved our liquor endorsement yet.
No, I don't think that they
Uh,
can.
So it's been interesting. I can't seem to explain to people how this is different than a bar and a restaurant and should be viewed as such. Uh, I feel sorry for restaurant owners, man. I don't know how they can afford to even keep coverage
I've got a guy
slinging drinks.
on our team who specializes in restaurant and hospitality and bars, and he's got some folks in South Carolina that have said, well, we might as well just close shop because we can't afford liquor liability. It's 40, 50, $60,000 for $1 million policy for small operations.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
Man alive.
nuts. The same thing. Texas is
Yeah.
pretty bad too, where I've seen distilleries having to pay that $40,000, $50,000 for that one line of coverage.
You know, it was interesting when I went to, this is the only time this has happened. It's related to this. I did back in early 2020 before the lockdowns. I did just for grins. Me and a buddy were up for Vin Expo in New York, and we spent a couple of hours in Rose Mansion. It's that Instagram ready tour of a half a dozen rosés. You spend 40 bucks, and then you still buy your wine to drink after you're done. It's a money machine. And basically they solve a lot of their issues by you go, you punch your stuff into a kiosk, and man, when you buy your ticket and when you check in, you are holding everybody harmless as a consumer. Everybody.
Hmm.
You know, and it looks to me like that would always be a fairly effective workaround if you could make that happen, you know.
Sure.
They have
Make
a
your
rose
reservation.
cruise in New York every year. I can't, now that I think about it, like, how does that even happen? I mean, you got like, I'm trying to think how many people fit on this boat, but it's like a 4 hour
Yeah. Liquor
thing.
in a boat. What can go
It's
wrong?
all rosés. Everyone's drunk as hell. I mean, like, seriously, I don't, I mean, I never paid for a ticket because so I don't know what they cost, but that's got to be I can't even imagine the liability of
The-
that. I never even thought of it.
The number of companies within this industry and elsewhere that I've seen that just don't have insurance that they're supposed to
Right.
is mind-boggling. It's very scary. So that's where my head goes a lot of times. It's either that or it's probably not done the way it needs to be done. That would take the lion's share of most small businesses in the country, at least. Now, I'm not sure about this rosé cruise that you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe we signed a waiver. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's not it just cruises around Manhattan, whatever. I think I don't even remember who puts it on. It's on
There's so many booze
or
cruises
around Rosé Day in like May.
have been for decades.
Goes out of like,
Yeah.
So-
Chelsea Piers or something.
I don't want to get too far down the insurance rabbit hole, but a municipality or a licensing board or whatever, all they want to see is your certificate of insurance. And you probably have all seen those before.
Exactly.
Just a snapshot.
Yeah.
That certificate of insurance is nothing.
It
I can
doesn't
go
have any
online.
of the policy
I can-
details.
I can
Yeah.
go online right now and give all of you a certificate of insurance for $100 million of liquor liability. It doesn't mean anything. The policy is what means something. So if I need to send something to the city of Chicago or wherever, all they're going to look at is does the wording and do the coverage limits on the certificate match what we require? Yes, great. They don't look any further than that. So again, unscrupulous brokers, people who maybe are doing something wrong by accident, an underwriter that's not paying attention and provides the wrong kind of coverage. There's a number of ways that these certificates get issued or these policies get issued. So what I call it is the veneer of insurance coverage. It appears as though you've got coverage until there's a claim, and that's when the rubber meets the road. That's not the time to find out if you actually have coverage.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow.
so we can stop talking about insurance 101. But yeah, Sherman.
I'll reach out, Dan. Yeah. I'll reach out.
Okay, perfect.
And you too, Carrie.
Oh, I think Vanessa's boarded.
Yes, I am. That was interesting about what he said. I'm gonna reach out to him because I'm trying to switch carriers right now. Are you do you handle New York? Yeah.
So my firm, the Horton Group, got acquired by Marsh McLennan on August 1st of last year. Marsh McLennan's the largest insurance firm in the world, really. So yes, that's my
I think I'm with him.
Yeah. You say you think you're with them?
I think so. It starts with an M. I can't keep up.
Yeah. Listen, we could talk separately, and regardless of who you're with, I'm happy to provide advice. I would love to do that.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. So that's good to know. Well, I'm boarded, guys. It's been lovely.
And
I'll
sorry.
see. I'm Carrie. I'll see you when I get down there.
What, Carrie's, you're on mute.
I was muted. I said, okay.
All right. Well, listen, if you get bored at the wedding, I'm around this weekend.
You mean the bridal shower?
The bridal shower, whatever it is. Yes, that's right. The wedding is later.
Hopefully there's some strippers there. That would be nice.
All right. So Carrie, now I think you might have a workaround on your South Carolina tasting.
Yeah.
So
I
what
got to
else?
talk to Sherman, but like if he can get into total, you have to go through their portal and all this, and it's always blacked out because they say they can't. I heard it was a whole legal thing, but then I heard there were other suppliers able to do stuff. So maybe those are they're using agencies that have this insurance. I don't know,
Mhm.
but anyway,
All right, what
so.
else is happening from your?
So I got an email this morning, which is another group I'm in, but it's the US Wine Trade Alliance. So obviously, I don't know, I missed the first 8 minutes of this call, so I'm sure you guys all talked about the bourbon tariffs and everything else and what's going on in Canada, I'm
We
assuming.
have mentioned the coming off the shelves, but
Yeah.
in Canada, but we haven't really.
So now like this next go round is they're talking European stuff going on and at 100%. Which is like, I mean, I don't even know what would happen to Italian wine, French wine, Spanish wine. Like, it's insane. So there's this petition letter, whatever thing going around that you can fill out. Just to,
Oh, that
they're going to
was,
send it to lawmakers to try to get people to understand. It's
yeah, well, I mean, the issue is, right, the European, you know, whether that's going to be extended or not, is still an issue. But every day there's a whole different.
It's crazy. Like I subscribe to the drinks business. I don't know if any of you are on that. It's a UK based
Yeah, I read this morning, yeah.
So yesterday's article was like, people are gonna start hoarding Prosecco. I was like, what? I mean,
Right,
it's all crazy.
right, it's like hoard.
Someone called me and said, hey, how long will Prosecco stay good on the shelf? I was like, oh my God, like everybody, it's all nuts.
Yeah, well, I was watching an interview with the Canadian finance minister, and they were talking about, the insanity of what's going on, but also the fact that people are hoarding things that they're not sure they're
I've
gonna.
been to a grocery store this week, but I imagine people are hoarding avocados and like, yeah, I don't know. It's
Hi all, I'm Michael Clancy here from
Oh, hello,
phoning
Michael.
in
oh, we didn't recognize your voice.
phoning in from Ireland. So yeah, I'm driving across Dublin City at the moment. So apologies, I'm not on camera. But yeah, just interested in the whole tariff thing, just to give a kind of a European perspective on this. So obviously, and actually, we had our trade association meeting yesterday, and we had two of your colleagues from the Kentucky Distillers Association were over. So Colleen Douglas, I think, and somebody else. Anyway, basically, you know, we're as our trade association in Ireland, and which represents Irish whiskey, but also working closely with the KDA. None of us want tariffs of any sort. So, and the whole thing, the European thing is the tariffs potentially going on US spirits in Europe. We don't want that because that will kick off a retaliatory tariff for our spirits in the US. So, look, none of us in the industry, your side of the pond or my side of the pond, want tariffs. It's ridiculous for both of us, and I think that's we need to jointly kind of keep saying to our political leaders, whatever influence we have, that tariffs aren't good for either of our industries because they're just going to cost jobs, and not just in the production facilities but also in agriculture, also in the loggers who are making barrels, or cutting trees and that for barrels to be made. So it affects everybody, and it's just going to result in loss of jobs and loss of income for people. So it's none of us are in favor of them, and I think we need to join, speak as loudly as we can in relation to that. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and that is really, we've already seen the impact of the auto industry, and even Canada and Mexico, they keep making their cases and buying more time. It's just, it's really kind of insane. And I don't know about you, and I'm not a fan of fentanyl, I don't see the balance here. For the 15, the poor people, 15 people a year who, I don't know. No, I'm not trying to belittle, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's
Depends on
crazy.
the border, how much really comes in from Canada. I don't
I don't know.
know. Ernesto has joined us.
Hey, good morning, buenos dias.
Hello.
How
Hola.
are you? How's everyone doing?
We're good. We were just talking tariffs and all that, so that's going to be high on your agenda.
Very much so, yes. So as of good morning, everybody. As of I guess it was Tuesday, I bought one shipment in on Monday, and we were still good, clear, nothing. My customs broker gave me like an email. He printed out. I was there, um, about going forward, how it's going to work. But then yesterday, both Trump and Scheinbaum released that any product that is currently included in the existing free trade agreement that Trump signed with López Obrador in his last term is safe. So right now we're scrambling because I called my broker. I'm like, okay, so we're good because I've got a shipment of Xoloscuincle, our high proof, coming in probably a week from today, and I'm okay. So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna is it going? Is it not going? Is it? And they're like, oh, I don't know. So we're all scrambling. If it does or when it does, hopefully it doesn't. It's a little complicated for us because our broker is telling us that they're not. So right now, my U.S. customs broker and my Mexican customs broker, they coordinate. Right, product comes to the border, they coordinate, and it comes across, and they let me know, and they, I either if it's a little bit, I'll go get it. I like the drive; it's 2 hours, San Diego, and if not, we'll just ship it up here in a truck if it's more, more than a pallet or whatever. And then my broker will send me an invoice for everything, for the Mexican broker, for the transportation, to bring it across, for the transportation for the border to here, taxes, fees, everything is one invoice. And they're telling me that when this goes through, if it does go through, that I'm gonna have to go into my TTB account, just like the we do for the reimbursement of taxes, and somehow the crossing is gonna be there. I don't know how that's gonna happen, and I have to pay them ahead of time before we even schedule the truck to be able to bring it to the border to cross. So it's a little bit of coordination that's going to be I think it's going to be kind of hard. So I don't know. We're the small guys, so it's going to hit us. It is going to hit us pretty good. So we're already trying to see, what we do. We're trying to absorb. We cannot absorb the full 25, because that just cuts completely into what the profit is of the business. So we're gonna as an importer, we're gonna try and absorb a little bit, 5%, whatever, and then once we sell to the distributors that we work with, tell them also to ask them. It's a hard ask, but to add a smaller margin than what they usually do.
Yeah. So you're saying that you have to pay in advance for the crossing the 25% tariff, and then you get it back. You apply to the.
Well, no. So the CBM, the Craft Beverage Modernization Act, that gives our what is it? Okay, so the taxes that we pay now, that we've always paid currently, on a standard bottle, a 750 40 ABV, $2.14 a bottle, excise tax. So with the CBBM Craft Modernization Beverage Act, we apply for a reimbursement of part of that 214 through TTB.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do that.
What is that percentage? That's what's
that's just the tax, and it's a reimbursement of that 214. On top of the 214 is this 25%. That 25% is based on the invoice from our supplier. So the suppliers ships out product. We buy a truckload. Let's say 10 pallets, right? They send an invoice. That invoice is being used by our Mexican customs broker to do all of the Mexican side to let it out of the country. So based on that invoice is where I guess TTB is going to say, okay, this invoice is for $60,000. We're going to add the 25% to that, and they're going to generate a bill somehow, and we're going to have to pay that directly to them before they release or they accept. See, so we have to. I don't know. Some of you guys are importers, right? So we have to do like an appointment 2 days prior to a truck coming across, because we do everything land. 2 days prior to the truck coming across, we have to make an appointment with CBP to allow for the product to come across. So I'm thinking that in order for when we apply, when we submit for that appointment, they're going to say, okay, let me see where this is already paid so we can schedule you. I'm imagining that's how it is. I don't know. I really don't know. Just thinking out loud. So it's gonna be tough because it gives us the way we do it now. It's always been, we deal with our broker, whatever. Product comes across, it gets here, they send us an invoice, we pay it. So we've got, I don't know, let's say a week, 10 days to throw out a chunk of cash, right? And right now it's nope. You have to pay the 25 up front. Maybe the rest is gonna be, like always, but it's gonna be, pay up front.
So now that they have agreed to exclude the tariff on goods that are under the trade agreement, doesn't that pause this? Like, why would you be still doing that for a shipment next week unless they change it?
Yeah, exactly. So he supposedly, and I'm just going off of I'm going off of what they both put on social media, really. Trump put on social media, Sheinbaum put on social media, that fact that free trade. And then I'm looking at all the news, I'm looking at, these what's going on just in general, and everybody says tariffs have been suspended till April 2nd for automobiles only. So I think the automobile thing is the biggest thing, but there's a bunch of other stuff that's in the free trade agreement, which they both said that was going to be a pause. So
I think the auto thing happened earlier, so that's why they probably haven't really updated what the guidance is.
Yeah. So as of right now that I'm speaking, I don't know if it's a yes, if it's a no, both presidents said on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, there was going to be a hold on everything in the free trade agreement. So hopefully that's true, and hopefully that includes us. And
right, but again, the fact that it's the stop-start.
Yes. So yes, exactly. So we're hoping that we don't have any hurdles to get this product coming across next week, or at least by the end of the month, so that we can see, let everything else take its course before we bring in another shipment. Yeah. So we don't know.
It was hard enough without the hoop jumping.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing is that if it's a yes, like for one day, like if I would have brought product across on Tuesday, I would have been, it would have to pay exactly, would have had to pay, because Tuesday it was still in effect. And I think Wednesday's when
you still owe it, couldn't get a rebate. You couldn't get a refund.
Yeah, probably not. There's nothing in place to make this stuff happen. I really don't know how it's gonna work.
Well, that's an excellent example of why things are gummed up, because nobody wants to do a transaction risking that it's going to get caught in this interim 2 days.
Yeah. It's really crazy. So we're
Well,
holding our breath.
yeah.
Literally.
All I can say is insanity.
Correct. I agree.
Certainly not credible. Credibility is on the
Right.
way out. Anyway, so what else let's see, is happening? So I'm going to the Craft Spirits Association, American Craft Spirits Association in Tucson early next week. So we'll get an interesting read on how people are handling things. I'm seeing more of an uptick in buying of bulk spirits since the end of last year, which is a good thing, but not major buys, but just like people are saying, okay, we got to keep rolling. We got to fill bottles. Maybe not as many as we thought, but we still need to. So that's a somewhat positive in a strange world. And I don't know, Sherman, you had said that you're on track to do, huge, growth because of your association with the Texas group. But are you seeing there a change in spend?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely on the spirit side. Um, and I know it's more than anecdotal. Um, we're seeing um, I can't name the names, but a
Mhm.
couple of publicly traded companies are
Mhm.
telling us they blew their budgets out on sampling last year, and this year they're focused more on event work, not as much retail sampling. And we're just very thankful for the ready to drink cocktail
Mhm.
space that we work in. Um, and See you, Dan. And because that's where our growth is. We got one firm that's going to do 1,400 with us in across Publix in Florida this year, just that market alone,
Mhm.
starting in May. And um, so we're very thankful for the RTD space. And you're right, Mike, they're all spirits based. They're not malt or, they're not the high noons of the world. They're 8 to 10% ABV, one's 40,
Mhm.
regular cocktail in a can. Um, and those are where our strength are coming from right now. Oddly enough, Carrie, we're doing some wine work, more wine coming to us this year than last year. Um, all of our samplings came from Constellation last year. And so it's other companies
Well,
that are
you
doing the
don't hold your
spin.
breath on that one because I'm sure you saw the latest news there. They're selling off all their
Uh,
wine.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not holding my breath for anything Constellation wise because their budgets are running so slow and their local teams have been so uncertain about what it is they're going to be able to do. Um, but there's still, for a small company like ours, plenty of customers out there. We just have to find them. And then as soon as we can, Michael, move our product into these on-premise, these restaurant and bar partners, so we can find other ways to make money with our software.
So were
But
you doing more on or off stuff?
totally retail at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where all the revenue comes at this point. Um, and we're fortunate we went national just in time. So just about any state somebody wants to do something and it's legal to do it there, we can make that happen. We're probably in 12 right now. Um, but it's been crazy, man. I'm just so thankful we got a little uh, diverse portfolio around clients. Otherwise, had we planted a flag in one supplier, we'd have been dead.
Do you have any wine RTDs? Wine
No,
based?
not right now.
Okay,
No,
well, you might.
that'd be good. I mean, that's a great idea. I think that's the kind of place wine needs to go.
Okay, because
I
I'm a little optimistic, but okay, I'm glad to hear you say that.
So
So we got one coming.
is that like a spritz, like a wine and soda kind of thing, or you
Yeah,
can't
I
I
tell
don't
mean,
me?
know
it'll
what
be,
those. I,
I think it'll
yeah,
be
I
strong.
guess.
And especially if it's a value product. I mean, I shared some research today on LinkedIn around the power the female audience brings to value wines. Anything $22 and below, women are driving that market right now. And you know, we're seeing women
You're talking about
are
for a 750 or what do you?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for 750. Yeah, because that's what the research I did was early on. It was around the 750. It wasn't around any RTD work, but women are driving uh, the market in value wine categories right now. And it doesn't surprise me as we looked at our stats around, you know, the 40 plus thousand people we were in front of last year, more men were at the store, but the percentage of purchasers by a small margin were more women.
Hmm.
So women were underrepresented a little bit in who sampled, but they over converted the men.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting to see, you know, how women are driving certain purchase decisions right now around booze. Um, they say when men spend for the premium stuff, but women drive the everyday.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, it's kind of interesting. So we've
I
had a
can see
couple of
that though.
companies. Yeah, I can too. Absolutely, I can. Um, so, and we're finding the same thing in the RTD space. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I have no clue what's happening in the future, though. None whatsoever.
I don't think anybody does.
No,
We can't even eat
You
eggs. I
know,
mean, like
it
it's
used to be,
just
it
all
used to
like,
be so much easier to have a handle
yeah.
on.
I mean, I'm glad I don't even care about eggs. Like I really don't. If I make a casserole, I need them. But like I don't need to get up and make scrambled eggs every day. I'm so tired of hearing about eggs and Elon Musk. Like, oh my God.
you
Just a
know, it's
pizza.
weird when we're importing eggs from Turkey.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we really?
Yeah,
Wow.
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah. Don't know if they've got an exception or not, Ernesto. Who knows? You
I was
know.
just gonna say, I said, well, that's only until we get that 25%
Yeah.
off on them.
Don't
And we
tell anyone,
and that's
Sherman. We'll be paying on those too.
um,
Uh,
Ernesto,
I wish Ernesto had an audience with like the social media world just to chat about what it is he has to go through and the uncertainty
People
of it
have
all.
no
it would
idea.
be a
yeah.
good,
They have no
LinkedIn,
clue.
yeah,
No.
good LinkedIn article. Just, okay, here's my world. This is what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And he
That would be
smiles when
cool.
he talks about it. It's like you're not even pissed off.
Yeah.
What can I
I
do?
mean, there's no use in crying, really. There isn't. It's so it's we're gonna literally roll with the punches. I mean, we get hit, we like this one we ducked it, by a day or two, and then it's gone, and hopefully it's we're just rolling with it. Looking on the news, I got all my notifications on my phone. With tariffs, with all these keywords coming up, because I need to be on top of it. Like, okay, what is it today? What is it tomorrow? And then my brokers are like, oh, we're just gonna just go forward with it. Well, no, you can't do that either, because if it doesn't apply today and it applies tomorrow, you have to day by day. It's really a stressful waiting game. And then we don't know, like in the shipment that's coming in, we've got a new product, new still strength, 51% ABV, um, small batch tequila. Only 1,000 bottles have been bottled. They're bottled already, but we don't know where to price it. We can't pre-sell.
Right.
Right, until you
Wow.
know
Wow.
what the landed cost is, yes.
We have no idea. We have no idea. So our calculation and we don't even know how to calculate, really, honestly, just basic, whatever it is, plus 25%. I don't even know if that's how TTB or CBP is going to calculate it. We're just calculating anywhere between $7 to $12 per 700 milliliter bottle, just on the tariff.
Of
So that's a
additional
big,
retail,
a big
yeah.
chunk. So we don't know. We can't pre-sell. So people know it's coming. Our social media, like you said, our social media is it's on fire because it's mine as the import company, and then the brand itself. In this case, what I'm talking about is Tequila Solo Squinkle. They're it's going off, and we've got our distributors for the states that we send to. We're sending to about 20 states right now. And then our retailers are saying, Ernesto, on both platforms, on both social media things, are like, how much is it? I want it. How much is coming? We did say 1,000 bottles. It's okay. I want. I want. How much is it to me? How much is it to me? Everybody's wanting. Everybody's wanting to. I mean, it's basically 1,000 bottles are I could say sold. I just don't know how much, and I don't know how many of those sales are going to say like, oh no, that came in way too high. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Right. Right. Yeah, they're it's all lip service right now because they haven't wired you money yet. So yeah, you can't make a decision based on that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but and there's no money going to be coming, because we don't even know how much we're going to charge it.
Right.
It's too wide of a number, to even throw something out. Oh, it's going to be between $80 and $120. Well, that doesn't help. That doesn't do anything.
Right. Wow.
Oh boy. So what you by the way, thank you for replying to my message, and I'm going to do a mutual connection. You've got his contact. Jare is his name, I think. Ernesto, that I sent you the email yesterday.
Yes, the email.
Yeah. But you also mentioned that you were looking to grow your distributor.
I am.
What states in particular?
You know what? I'm not very strong on the East Coast. I don't have. I think furthest east I've got is Michigan and Illinois. Michigan's kind of a headache because it's the control state, so we don't get paid until product sells, and we sell them a bunch of stuff, and and that's kind of a headache. But we don't have New York, New Jersey. The only thing on the eastern seaboard I guess we got is Florida. We've got Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Kansas, and then so Missouri. So we've got Tennessee. So we there's some states out there that I think we could do pretty good with our boutique stuff, and and we really like working with smaller distributors. Not so much because we wouldn't want to be with the bigger distributors, but usually, years ago for example, I worked with Savannah in Georgia, and they were buying $100,000 invoices, every 2 months or something, but then the bill backs were like 30. So it's like, yeah, no, we can't do that. Yeah, we're doing this. Every salesman's gonna, take the bottle or 2 bottles or 3 bottles. And our portfolio is not that small anymore. We've got like, I think we're coming up on 80 SKUs, 90 SKUs. So they're like, yeah, a bottle of each. Well, that's 80, 90 bottles that we just sometimes we just can't afford it. Even at 50% bill back or whatever. And then promotions with salespeople. So we've shied away a little bit with.
I've got a good relationship with a small distributor, craft distributor in New England. They're in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, called Stone Fence Beverage, and I'm happy to make a connection.
I would.
For you there. They do have on their list. They do have tequila and agave spirits, mezcal.
Okay, cool.
I don't know what brands they have, but I can find out. You can find out. You can look at their
website.
Stone
Is their website like?
Yeah, stonefencebev.com.
Oh yes, I would definitely appreciate an intro.
So that's I think that would be a good one for you.
Yeah.
Carrie, who do you think here? Well, he's already talked about Savannah, but for tequila, I'm trying to think of the name. There's this There is this craft guy. I'm trying to remember. It's been 2 years since I talked to him. And
In
who
Georgia.
Carolinas? Sherman, do you think? Small.
I don't know where.
Yeah.
I know some small ones in Tennessee, but I don't know any small ones out here on the
In-
east
In
side
Tennessee,
of
we
things.
we are with Tennessee Craft Beverage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the title speaks to exactly what they do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're with
yeah.
him, and he has 5 of our tequilas, a mezcal, and then he's got another tequila that's not. He has another brand of tequila, but they
Yeah.
do pretty good. And that's what we need. We need people that will carry our brands physically, because they're very, like, look at it, talk about it. If we're just
Right.
going to be in a book with another 60, 70
Right.
brands, it doesn't work,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
their stuff
Yeah.
is pricey.
I'm familiar with a small distributor down in Florida. You have any interest in being there?
Florida, we are with Community Craft
Okay.
with
Yeah.
Jonathan Humerite.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Are
So
they covering most of the
they are
state for
covering most
you,
of
or
the
are you
state.
just in?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're covering. They just late last year they opened up a like a satellite warehouse in near the Panhandle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good deal.
yeah. But I mean, any of those contacts would be great, regardless, because we do have the people we work with are like us. We're in SoCal, we're in LA. We cover California for brands that we only distribute, because half of our portfolio is what we import, and the other half is just distribution. And that's mostly because we're Total Wine and More vendors. And there's brands that are authorized for Total Wine and More. There's 45 stores here now in California, and they just need the distributor. So we get those brands. We'll bring in them. They'll call us. Hey, I've already authorized for 45 stores. I've got 5 SKUs, 45 stores. Do you want to take it on? I'm like, well, yeah. Send me the email where you got approved, so we can just see it. And it's just 5 more SKUs per store that we're visiting anyway. So it's an easy, we do our margin. Yeah. So it's an easy yes. So that our portfolio has grown quite a bit because of that. With our Total Wine has made us a little stronger as distributors in California. As importers, we know that's where we import our brands that reach out directly to us, and those are the ones that we're pushing out to the states.
Just to jump in there, it's Michael here.
Hey, Michael.
I might be interested in a small distributor in Florida as well, if anyone has contacts. The ask is to get some Irish whiskey into Key West very specifically.
Yeah.
So we have an importer, but it's basically to get it through the right channels into Key West. So if anyone has a small distributor that might be able to assist in Key West for that, not massive volumes, but it's just something that would be of interest. So, just to while I'm talking, in case I get cut off, if I doubt any of you guys are going to Pro Wine in a couple of weeks' time in Dusseldorf, but in Germany. But if any of you are, I will certainly be there. I'll be in Hall 5 on the big Ireland stand with lots of Irish spirits producers. So if any of you are traveling, definitely make contact, and we'll meet you for a drink. Yeah. So I just said I get that out in case I get cut off. So
Sure, Michael. I know we've got some emails going back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
And I apologize for not being on there quickly, but yeah, I'll definitely put you in contact with Community Craft in Florida, and
Cool.
and the ones that Sherman was mentioning also. We could send it. You talk to everybody and see what best fits
brilliant.
you, because
Yeah,
that's who we're with smaller companies throughout the country. People that have a passion, that especially that know agave spirits or Mexican spirits, because that's like 90% of what we do. We got Mexican whiskey, Mexican gins, Sotol, Raicilla, Bacanora, all the Mexican stuff. Some
Cool.
wines, but those are hard for us to move.
Yeah.
Don't know how to sell wine.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you all for making this another rewarding investment of time. Our
Thank you,
next,
Michael.
our next will be on April 4th. That's the next Drinks Professionals Network. So we'll get the Stephanie will get the follow-up email with the video, and I look forward to seeing you all. So I'm sorry I won't see anybody in Tucson, but
When is that, Michael? I mean, Tucson's not too far from us.
it's next week. It starts Sunday. It's Monday, Tuesday. I think it's the 9th through the 12th. I'm there the 10th and the 11th.
And what is the event called?
American Craft Spirits Association, ACSA, if you Google it. Yeah, so it's, one of the two craft associations. They've kind of grown pretty significantly over the past couple of years, that association. They were the baby about 5-6 years ago. The other one is ADI, but yeah, it's in Tucson at the convention center.
Okay.
If you make it, let me know.
Yeah, I would definitely let you know. Because we do like with our small distributors, we do a lot of ride-alongs. So like my son is in Texas now. He's in Texas doing ride-along with our Dallas, our Texas distributor that's based in Dallas, San Antonio. So he's doing all that. We do the ride-alongs with Arizona. So he's the one that likes to go out and
I gotta go, guys. I'm sorry, this guy's
All
looking
right,
for
Carrie.
me.
I
Have a good
have a-
weekend, everybody.
Happy International Women's Day, Kerry.
Thank you.
congratulations.
Day as well.
Bye. So
I'll let you
Ernesto,
know.
the attendees, the exhibitors and the attendees are primarily smaller distillers.
Okay.
There aren't a lot of distributors who go to this, but there are, suppliers, contract producers, the exhibitors are those kind of people. But it's good networking, and I imagine that you would potentially find some interest for tequila products, even if it's someone who has a distillery that they might want to bring in.
Yeah, some totes. Yeah, we're doing that now. I think I mentioned it last time, but we're working at a distillery here in LA. We're gonna bring in some totes of Ordinario, only
Right.
one distillation.
Yep, and then they can have their own.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And agave spirit. They're gonna call it, but it's gonna be 100% blue agave, as far as a mixer.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all, Sherman, Michael.
Thank you.
Ernesto.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.
See you guys.
See ya. We'll be in touch.
St. Patrick's Day in advance as well.
Oh, likewise. St. Patty's.
Don't drink green beer.